Slavery, reparations, race. Online firebrand Gavin McGinnes goes head-to-head with a pro-African scholar in a no-filter debate over history, responsibility and modern identity. No safe talking points, no easy answers. Let's get into it.
Forcefully breeding did not happen in Africa.
Oh, they were cool with their slaves.
Only like 3,000.
Why did 2 million die just not even getting out of the continent then?
Meant a totally different thing on the continent of Africa. What you are talking about is other nations of people coming and also partaking in the destruction and slavery of Africa. Mm-hmm. But it's what you owe. And as a child, some little child that says, oh yeah, I hit Timmy, but guess what? They hit Timmy too. Mm-hmm. But guess what? You are benefiting right now from what you did.
Yeah, I think it's the number of little boys that hit Timmy, though.
Well, the thing I wanted to bring up, too...
Focusing on one guy who hit Timmy once as opposed to the entire schoolyard.
I did not, exactly. The entire schoolyard you colonized. The entire schoolyard you colonized. The entire schoolyard you loot from. Everything you have, every material you have is connected to a colonized and oppressed nation.
Are these countries better off when they get colonized? Isn't colonization nothing but an improvement for the third world?
There are cases when it's obviously not, like the British in India.
Look at Haiti. They kick out all the whites. It becomes a hellhole.
Zimbabwe.
Look at Jamaica after 1969. Look at South Africa today. Yeah. The less white people, the more dangerous it seems to be.
Yeah.
That happened in...
From the attacks of white people, from the attacks of imperialism. Do you know that they cut off Haiti from doing trade with anyone? And that
so you didn't get enough handouts?
You didn't get enough capitalism?
I didn't give you enough you kicked me out?
They assassinated Haitian leaders. They assassinated Haitian leaders. They put Coachella virus in Haiti. They put HIV and AIDS in Haiti. They have attacked Haiti. When the Haitian earthquake happened, the Clintons stole billions of dollars from Haiti.
Well, that's correct.
That could have been given to the Haitian infrastructure.
How could you even tell after Haiti had an earthquake? Before and after pictures look the same.
Your argument is that a liberated African people will always fail because there's something innate in black people that will make us fail. Because that's your argument, and it's not true.
Of course
not really. No, my argument is that white people are not better than anyone. We're just very good at systems. I don't know why. Everyone has a talent. Our talent is systems. We're good at roads and infrastructure, and you show your ticket here and you get your pie over there.
You didn't build those infrastructures, so you're not good at that. You're good at stealing and looting, and that's why you have a country that has only went 24 to 27 years without a war, because you're good at stealing, because each and every war is of you stealing resources. No, you are not good at systems, sweetheart. You are good at colonialism.
What resources? Gold and diamonds?
I don't understand the argument, though, that it was, let's say, slaves that built up America. Like, we could just walk out on the street and look at any 10 buildings and...
Well, the other problem with that whole argument, Ghazi, is after the Civil War, the balance sheet was zero. So you build up a restaurant and it burns to the ground, and then someone rebuilds a new restaurant and you go, that's my restaurant, I built it.
There is actually massive inflation in the South during the Civil War.
Not a lot of cotton money going around these days.
No, but there was massive inflation in the South following the Civil War just to finance the war.
Have you ever heard of convict leasing? Have you ever heard of convict leasing?
Okay, that's a different argument. Now you're getting into the way they were treated after the war. Now it's racism reparations, not slavery reparations.
People and the continuation. The basis of capitalism and imperialism is built on the bodies of African people. So even if you say, fine, now you have these resources to rebuild, the resources that you have to rebuild is from the resources that you stole from Africa. None of you here can say where the resources came from, and it didn't come from your systems, and it didn't come from your brightness, and it didn't come from you being more intelligent than others. It came from stolen loot.
This is the world. Clarify.
Wait, nations are poor.
Okay.
Because white nations are rich. That is a fact. That is a fact. It is a fact that 14 countries in Africa have to give 65% of their budget to France, and then another 15% of that as extra charge. And that if any of those African countries even ask France how much money is in that bank, that they are overthrown and they are killed and they are replaced with another puppet regime. If this wasn't true, you wouldn't have to have over 200 military bases around the world to solidify and sustain your stolen resources. If this was not true, everything that you are talking about is based off of. We live in a world that people are being bombed and murdered and assassinated every day so you can have resources. So yes, I'm talking about the past of what happened in Africa, but you have to understand the past is now. And stop saying African people sold African people as slaves. You put to the Africans that did not help the slave trade, they were murdered and beheaded, and their heads were sent to the royals. Just now in Ghana, they got the heads of two of their kings back.
No, it was a big industry in Africa. It's a big industry today, my friend. There's more slaves ever.
They were murdered. How can you say that? How can you say that they were not murdered for not helping because
slavery existed way before we were buying the slaves, and it still exists today.
Slavery is as old as human civilization. There's slavery in the Bible before there was any sort of...
The words a white slave, a Slav. But yeah, that's where they had slavery in Africa before we decided to buy some, and they still have them right now.
Thomas Sowell.
Is it my fault they have them right now?
Slavery that you invented.
No, we did not.
Never been on this face of the planet until you came into it.
No, it's not true.
And guess what? Your slavery, the slavery that you had was so huge and so all-encompassing that it has built a system. It has built a system of capitalism. It has built a system of oppression. It has built parasitic capitalism that gives you these cities and these nations. Where are the cities and these nations for these other slaves, these other slave owners?
Yeah, the Irish slaves. Where's their Mecca?
What about the 1.5 million white people sold into slavery during the Barbary Pirates?
Yeah, isn't that why we had to invent the Marines to protect ourselves from all these Muslim pirates stealing our women?
The biggest colonial empire, aside from the British, was the Ottoman Empire, and no one seems to want reparations for them because they're not white.
Yeah.
Wait, only white people enslaved others? That's not history, that's fan fiction. Because somehow ancient Egypt didn't exist. The Ottoman Empire was just doing job training. The Arab slave trade, over 1,000 years long, just vanished. Africans enslaved Africans, Asians enslaved Asians, native tribes enslaved rival tribes, humans enslaved humans. Slavery wasn't invented in Europe. It was a global horror practiced by every race with power. So when you reduce all of that to white people bad, you're not educating, you're rewriting history to fit a grievance. That's not moral clarity. That's intellectual laziness.
Anyway, I mean, I was going to bring up...
You gave reparations for the Japanese, right?
Correct. They were directly affected.
No, we didn't. We were total tyrants.
Well, those who were directly in turn got reparations.
Yeah, but I'm glad you brought up Japan.
You go in on the barbers and all these other kind of things, but you are currently living right now on a system that is built from the slavery and the colonization of other people, of African people. And that you cannot negate from. And no, we just did not.
I disagree.
We did so much more, and it built an entire nation. America today would not be America today if it wasn't for the enslavement of African people. Europe would not be Europe if it wasn't for colonialism and slavery. White nations, white people would not be where white people are right now if it was not for colonialism and not for slavery. And right now you are dealing with a crisis of imperialism, of African and colonized people fighting every day. That's why when you go to your airports, you got to go through all these freaking checkouts and take your shoes off and everything. You want to know why?
That's Islam.
Coming back to take back their stuff. You want to know why you have to build a wall? Because people are coming back to take their stuff. You want to know why you have to drop the biggest bomb, the biggest non-nuclear bomb of Afghanistan? Because African and colonized people are fighting for their back consistently everywhere. So as much as you want to negate it, as much as you want to say, well, what about this and this happened and this happened and oh my God, this happened in history, this happened in history, coming for your neck. Do you not see that?
So the reason
that's a good argument for a wall.
The reason we bombed ISIS in Afghanistan is to steal money from Africa.
And then the best summation you could do, Matt, is to come up with a book about Islam. That Islam is the crux of this issue. That Islam is the core of this issue. That, you know, these Muslims just hate freedom. No, these colonized people hate that you're bombing them and you're stealing their resources and starving them to death. And
what are these resources you keep talking about?
We took their diamonds and built an entire country from it.
Yeah, I don't drive a diamond mobile. Do you mean oil?
You drive something that is filled with the oil, right? You use something that's filled with coltan, right?
Yeah.
Right? All these metals, all this stuff, where do you think that came from?
The metal? Where do we get metal from?
Metal here, China.
We're doing great for metal.
That oil that is in your car is blood oil. All the diamonds that you have, even when you give to your wife, and this is the diamond, is blood diamonds stolen from African people.
Well, I think we get most of our oil from Canada and Mexico, and most of the oil from Saudi Arabia. We pay for our oil. I don't understand and that's Islam.
You pay who? You pay who?
Islam.
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabians. Very rich Saudis.
very rich Saudis that do exactly whatever America says, and if they don't, that they will be replaced. But the masses of the people of Saudi Arabia are poor and colonized. The masses of the people of the Middle East are poor and colonized. And if Saudi Arabia was a self-determining nation that fought and aligned and gave the power and the resources to the masses of the people, there would be no Israel. They would wipe out Israel, and they would wipe out this oppression. They would wipe out this oppressive relationship that all of the Middle East has with America. And you created a Saudi Arabia. You created these countries the same way you created these 54 nations in Africa. There was no African in that building when white people decided to chop up Africa into pieces. And then you instill these puppet regime governments. And if these governments do not do as you say, you murder them and you axe them out. And these governments have to give you their resources. The same way Saudi Arabia has to give you all that damn oil is the same way that Congo has to give all their damn resources to France. That all these countries have to give their resources. Because if they don't, the petty bourgeoisie, the neo-colonial sellouts will be murked and overturned. But the masses of the people stay poor. The masses of the people stay poor. You have to understand. It is what you cannot think that. How do you think that that's not real? How do you think that that's not real?
You're right.
When that is the life that you live.
You're totally right.
That is the life that you live. You live on the empire. And it is white opportunism. It is white opportunism to negate from any of that and to say, you know what? We just got this because we design better than y'all, and because we do infrastructure better than y'all. When the masses of the people, when people are willing to strap bombs on themselves to run into crowds, you have to ask yourself, no, that is not some damn Allah. No, that is not damn psycho.
You're conflating every non-white group as one big anti-white movement because I think you're inherently racist. You don't like white people. So let's just accept that everything you say is totally correct and we stole everything. Where do we go from here? What's the next step? How do we go forward?
You just said that African people, we put to our own, if we lead our own struggles or lead our own countries, that we fail. What I'm saying is African and colonized people around the world are fighting against imperialism, are fighting against parasitic capitalism. It was you that connected white to that. It was you that made white and imperialism, white and colonialism, white and parasitic capitalism.
You guys tried your darndest to colonize us. Remember Hannibal and his elephants going up to Spain? You didn't colonize because you weren't good enough at it. Sorry.
All right, let's just stop it right there. Because at this point, this isn't even an argument anymore. It's just a word game. Say more words. Say them faster. Never actually answer anything. And somehow that's supposed to be a win. It's the same circular gish gallop over and over and over again. White people bad because white people bad, and if it weren't for white people, then somehow everything else just magically turns into a paradise. No evidence, no solutions, no responsibility, just noise. If you actually made it to the end of this video, congratulations. Seriously. I'm done. I'm out of here. See you next time.